Hello, Dr. Neetu. How are you?
I'm doing fine, sir. Very good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Oh, you have some good background noise. Anyways, let's discuss the writing test that you just shared with me. Um, okay, so this is from book 13, test 3, task 1. And the question is, the bar chart below shows the top 10 countries for the production and consumption of electricity in 2014. 10 countries. Okay. China, US have the maximum. Then Russia, Japan, India are at similar levels. Okay. Germany, Korea are at the lowest levels. Production and consumption. Kilowatt hours. Okay. All right. Let's see what we have here. The given illustration with 2014 data. With data from 2014, or you can write 2014's data. Yeah,
Right.
clearly summarizes and draws comparison among the top 10 electricity producers of the world and their consumption of the same. Okay, there's a space before the full stop. That's not required. Overall, the top three nations, namely China, US, and Russia, remained above the 1000 billion kilowatt energy level in terms of both generation and usage. However, the rest of the countries fell behind. Past, hai na? Everything is in past tense.
I had previously written fell, but okay, makes no sense.
Okay.
Fell
Fell
behind.
behind on both parameters. The most populated nation of the world, China, stands out in the list or stood out in the list with figuratively 5398 billion kilowatt per hour of electricity. Figuratively. I mean, this is the exact figure, no? So, figuratively is used to denote something which is similar to a figure, or
Okay.
what's that called? Like a metaphor. You are saying something, but you mean a related thing.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Figuratively. Okay, got it.
you
Right.
can replace this with precisely. With precisely 5398 billion kilowatt hour per hour of electricity production and more or less equal consumption of 5322 kilowatt hours. Okay. Similarly, the well-known superpower nation, okay, no space before the comma. The US can be seen standing almost at par with China at 4099. Okay. Unlike the top rankers in the list, countries like Japan, India, Canada generated more energy than they used, and a similar trend is identified with France and Brazil. However, less populous countries, okay, we don't need a space here, less populous countries in the list, and also the last two. But the thing about population is that we don't really know how population is.
I mean, that is something which I added from my end. Just
Yes,
to elaborate it, if I think it's not making sense here, it shouldn't be added here,
we
right?
don't really have any idea about their population.
Correct. Correct.
Maybe the population of Canada is.
We can do without this
Yes,
particular
yes, yes.
phrase, the populous countries in the list, or the last two countries in the list.
Or you can
That,
replace this with European nations like France or South American nation like Brazil. Kuch aisa.
mm-hmm.
Something that everyone is aware of. For example, you used superpower in the previous paragraph. US is a superpower. Everyone knows that. So we can use facts that
That's
are
okay.
very common.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, populous countries in the list, and also the last two, that is Germany and Korean Republic, maintained a balance in their energy production and expenditure. Okay, a balance. Mm-hmm.
because that's
Okay,
almost
so they
similar.
are similar.
Hmm.
But Germany's production is lower. Okay, it's a minor difference. Hmm. All right. How many words are these?
171.
Okay, okay. All right. And how long did it take?
It took me 20 minutes, 21, just 2, 3 minutes above. Yeah.
Okay, and could you think of any other way of presenting this data or using some figures that you have not used here? Any other way of summarizing the graph? So, for example, here you have used the top producers and people at the lower levels with one line about who is in the middle.
Hmm.
Was there any other way to deal with this data?
We could talk about a trend. I mean, there's a sharp drop in the production of electricity uh, from China and United States to the rest of the countries. There's a sharp drop. So I wanted to somewhere highlight.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, because the graph is showing that sort of.
Difference.
I mean, there's a sharp drop after United States.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to highlight that particular
Yes.
feature of the graph.
In fact, that is what I'm looking for. So
Hmm.
we
I
had
wanted
used
to use this phrase, insert this phrase in middle, actually in the second
hmm,
paragraph that
sharp
there's
drop,
a sharp
significant
drop,
decline. Yes, things
significant
like that.
decline in the energy production and consumption of rest of the world compared to China and United States.
Right, right, right. Now we have mentioned something related to this in the second paragraph.
Hmm.
The top three nations, namely China, US, and Russia, remained above the 1000 billion kilowatt hour
Right.
level. So we have an idea that they are above and the others are below. But if you
Hmm.
need to showcase that significant decline, then
Hmm.
it's important to mention the figures or the exact percentages or the numbers of the other nations also. So, for example, the countries which are at the lower levels, or we can identify, we can see a significant decline in the consumption and production of electricity by Russia as compared to US. There's almost a 3000 kilowatt hour difference. And
Right.
when it comes to Canada or France for that matter, we see another 500 to 600 points drop. So
Okay. We can use phrases like
yes,
this.
yes. So that will also shed light on the overall trend of the entire graph.
And should these particular features be mentioned in the generalized paragraph, the second paragraph, like because second paragraph is giving an overview, right? So should this be
Hmm.
mentioned in the overview itself
No,
or
no, no,
about the drop?
no.
Uh,
That's the
it,
overview, but here you are going into
overview is totally
details.
fine. Okay.
This is the detail. You are, in fact, focusing on each and every country with their production and consumption. So this is into a deeper level. So we need to have a separate area for them. You can do this in the last paragraph, or maybe in the third one. Yeah, that's in fact the only problem I think with this passage, because I know how much the topmost countries or the top rankers are producing and consuming, but there is no idea about the lower rankers. Japan,
Okay.
India, Canada, Germany, Korea. We have no clue. So
Mhm.
some data about them would have been a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah, everything else is fine.
So,
Hmm.
okay.
Tell
So
me.
I think the marks might get deducted in task achievement because
Yeah, a little. maybe one band and half a band for the grammar.
Okay.
Yeah, the commas,
Just for
this,
that word of fell and fall.
that, and the spaces, the unnecessary spaces.
Okay. But
Give the
is the overall paragraph giving, I mean, is the overall paragraph has a good grammatical approach, or it's like it's going from past to present, or does it sound like that? Matlab, there's a simple, I don't know, I just feel that,
Yeah, so we started with past tense.
right.
Mm,
It's a simple past, right?
it
I guess it's,
shows, draws comparison.
yeah.
But we know that we have some data, and the data is usually from past years. So it's a good idea to keep everything in past.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't do that, then we might not be able to switch between tenses correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
Correct.
use the same tense throughout, it will make things easier for you. ज़्यादा सोचना ही नहीं पड़ेगा कहाँ पे क्या लगाना है. Yeah.
But normally, like the opening paragraph, the very first paragraph will always normally be starting with something like, the given graph represents or the given
Yeah.
illustration
Hmm.
provides data. So that will anyways be in simple present
That
only.
has to be
After
in
we
this
go
way.
simple
But when
present,
you
like
come to explaining the data, we see
this
that
happened or like
yes,
that
yes,
happened
yes,
and
yes, yes.
words like that, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. So the simple past tense stays only in the first paragraph. Everything else can be in past.
correct.
Sorry, simple present in the first one, past in the
Correct.
others.
Right. So like no, like what would be approximate
For
scoring for this
this,
task?
you can score somewhere between a 7 or a 7.5.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, no need to expand these acronyms. So if you just emphasize on the full form of KWH in the first paragraph and then use
Mm-hmm.
the short forms, that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
So give an introduction in the beginning and then use KWH
Very
throughout.
good. Right.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next one.